Do You Want to Hold Me by Bow Wow Wow, a band that added another dimension to the UK's new wave movement. On the phone with me now is one of the most influential women in music history and a true humanitarian, and with us for a second time on Revenge of the 80s radio, Annabella Lwin. Thanks for coming on with me again, Annabella.
Oh, you're so welcome. How are you? It's so nice to be on again.
Uh,
How is everybody? Hey, people.
it's great to have you here, Annabella.
Thank
And
you.
I'm really happy to have you on for a second time, and I hope we can do this a lot more in the future.
Oh, okay. You might get bored if you do, though.
I
I
don't
don't
think
want
so.
people to get bored.
As a matter of fact, Annabella, I would be remiss if I didn't start here, though. You recently attended the funeral for multi-genre music pioneer Malcolm McLaren. He put Bow Wow Wow together, and it's quite possible that without his discovering you, we might not have been blessed to hear your voice, as he not only found a great talent, but a kind-hearted humanitarian.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be able to physically attend Malcolm's funeral in London recently, London, England. Because he was taken after the service at Marylebone. He was taken to Highgate Cemetery where his body's been buried, along with Vivienne Westwood, obviously his former partner, and his new wife, Kim, and his two sons, Joe. And they were actually, taken in a horse-drawn carriage with 6 black horses, and it was all very crazy because there were absolutely loads of press people outside the actual service area on the day, trying to get pictures of everybody that had attended, and obviously of the hearse, because on the side of the hearse it said, too fast to live, too young to die, which was the actual theme that was originally used for Seditionaries, Malcolm and Vivian's first fashion shop that they had together in the World's End. So yeah, it was an incredible day, the funeral service.
The tabloids are the tabloids, and the reporters are the reporters, but I wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit about the Malcolm McLaren that you knew and will always remember.
I basically remember Malcolm as being this very tall, intellectual, funny, crazy, serious genius. Basically, he was very good at talking to people and telling stories, to me anyway in particular. But I kind of want to just go back to the funeral day, because it was interesting that some of the things were said by his sons in particular, and Vivian, I think she broached on that, was that Malcolm was very good at telling stories. He was a storyteller, and so I kind of really connected with that, because when I first did, my audition with Bow Wow, he had a song called C30, C60, C90 Go, and that's the one I auditioned on. And of course, I didn't know he'd written the song, but when I finally met him and we actually got to working together, he wrote other songs that, were very, I don't know, they were kind of, all over the place, I thought. But then he would explain them to me and say, look, this is what this is what's happening, and I want you to use your imagination. If you were on a train going down to the, because you're half English and you're from the countryside, and the other half is Burmese. So when you go to the country to see, because that's where he got the idea of the song, of course, Go Wild in the Country. And I'm like, okay. So it was the word use your imagination that I remember mostly about Malcolm, and his encouragement of my singing those words and singing those lyrics, because obviously, and that actually, when I look back on it now, after all these years of working with other people, I actually realise it's quite valuable to have someone share their thoughts like that with you about something they've written, and if I were to do that same thing to someone else, which I have done, like I've penned a couple of songs myself for other artists actually, and it's important to understand where the artist is coming from, when you're working with them. And I think because I was so young, I mean, obviously I was completely inexperienced, Malcolm allowed me to grow from what I did, by just, singing the songs in the studio. And then, of course, we went out and started doing shows. But that's what I remember fondly about him, is that he was very giving like that. he's like a director kind of thing almost.
In fact, what I found that might be interesting is that had he not discovered you and maybe somebody else did, we might have seen a different Annabella Lwin, or let's say a different artist, maybe somebody who was a little more packaged or maybe more industry specific, shall we say, rather than McLaren, who seemed to just say, hey, do what you do and just do it well and work from there.
Yeah, I don't know where this idea comes from that my name is not Annabella Lwin. That's my real name.
No, I know that. Yeah. It's.
First of all, I'd have you know, people keep saying in the press, I don't know where they get this from, because Malcolm never, he wanted to call me Best Man. This is the name of a horse, actually. Funnily enough. But it was a piratical name as well, because you see, the thing behind the Bow Wow look and image, actually, it was about pirates. It was nothing to do with what they call or termed new romantics. It was to do with the piracy thing, because it was about home taping, C30. My name has always been Annabella Lwin, but it's just that we thought, I guess they wanted to kind of push the fact that I was half Burmese, and I don't know why, again, because they got that name wrong a little bit. So I need to make some corrections there at some stage. But yeah, I have to take the compliment in your question, so thank you, Chris, because that's a very sweet thing to say, because, as you know, I like sweet things.
Like candy.
But, but no, I have to be honest, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he was looking specifically for a young girl. I mean, I think he was looking for a girl singer personally. I think Malcolm had a girl singer in mind, but it just so happened that, I guess, my voice fitted with that particular sound. I don't know. And my first audition was amazing. It was my first audition, so I didn't know the difference, obviously, but, I'm not going to use an analogy here, although I'm very tempted to. But it's like you go to something and you just do it, and you just go, okay, what was all that about? And then afterwards you get a phone call saying, hey, the manager wants to meet you, and that was the same day, so it was kind of weird.
It's good because from what I understand, Malcolm McLaren may have gotten you fired from the job at the laundromat.
Yep, he definitely got me fired. He went straight into the place and told my boss that I had to give up my job, so he had to find someone else to work for him. So that was, that was definitely Malcolm, yeah. It was, yeah.
I don't know how we're going to top this one.
I know, exactly, because, I sort of went, hold on a sec, you went in and told my boss that I could no longer work there. He said, you just won't have time, Annabelle, it's going to be so busy for you, So, of course, you kind of go, all right then. And that's how it was, back in the day.
Well, at least the audition worked. That's the good thing.
Well, I loved music. It was, I was hooked from the first time I did C30. And I did a couple of rock and roll songs too. I did one called Cast Iron Arm and one called Wedding Day before I actually did the song that they had written, C30. And that was kind of interesting. It was interesting to me because it was the first time I'd ever heard my voice fed back to me through this, big box in front of me. So, as I say, it was really all very strange because I didn't really know anything about the music industry except for what I'd seen on TV, So, yeah, it was kind of strange.
Annabella Lwin is my guest. Straight ahead, we'll talk with Annabella about her upcoming shows, charitable work, and what we might be seeing or hearing from her in the future. I'm Chris Cordani, and this is Revenge of the 80s Radio.